superheroes or supereroi. It's not a film about actual superheroes, despite the title. In fact, it's a new Italian romance that presents the thesis that people who manage to maintain happy relationships for long periods of time, they're the real life superheroes. It's written and directed by Paolo Genovese and stars Jasmine Trinca and Alessandro Borghi, who looks eerily like a younger Italian version of Michael Stuhlbarg. The film tells the life story of a couple from the moment they adorably meet hiding from the rain, through years and years of various ups and downs, being together, being apart, and trying to reconcile their different personalities. He's a physicist working at a university, a very rational person. She's, on the other hand, a cartoonist who lives her life from one day to the next, from one comic book strip to the next, enjoying the moment in a more whimsical way. Now, the way the film presents this story is by mixing up timelines. So some of the stuff we see is at the very beginning of the relationship. They get to know each other, they meet for the first time, and some of it is post 10th anniversary. And many of the scenes are deliberately put next to each other to showcase a similar type of situation that they were dealing with all the way in the past and now. And you might think it's meant to show the difference in approaching those situations as the characters become different people at a different stage of a relationship. But actually, the film often goes the opposite way and focuses on the similarities instead, on those situations playing out almost exactly the same. The battlefields can be various: jealousy, conflicting life views, approaches to different issues, but also very often the film just allows the two characters to be happy together and to not encounter any significant issues for prolonged periods of time. Now, I will say this, the two leads have an undeniable chemistry and you believe in their relationship. There are also a couple of really touching or endearing moments. I also found the film quite pretty in this sort of warm Italian way in terms of how it looks. But there are also many things which I have a problem with. First of all, the pacing. For a pretty long time, the movie seems like it's just gonna be watching those two people enjoy a happy life in the past and a happy life in the present, without any significant conflict or lessons learned along the way, or any drama that would force a change. Eventually, elements of it do occur, but a good first half of the movie does get somewhat boring. Secondly, when the drama does appear, apart from one significant plot point towards the end, it is pretty superficial and silly. Like, you're watching these conflicts play out, and I was thinking, really, is that reason to argue? And then there is one cheating-related subplot, which made me feel very involved emotionally suddenly, all of a sudden, because even as a viewer, I sort of felt betrayed. And it feels like this is going to be the main point of conflict for the rest of the movie, but 2 scenes later, the whole subplot is just dropped and never mentioned again, without any consequences for the characters or for the relationship, which pissed me off so much and made me hate the character in question, the character involved, for the remainder of the film. I was also not a big fan of the movie's structure and the way it edits the flashbacks with the present, because it is often confusing when something is actually happening. Particularly in the first half, I was really struggling to keep up with, which timeline I was watching at any given moment. Wait, does this happen after or before? Is this the same guy? It partly helps that the dude has a beard in the later scenes, so you kind of can judge based on that. But when it focuses on the woman, it's almost impossible to tell. She looks very similar in both timelines. Now, I think that may have been the point, at least to some extent, to blur the lines, because there is an ongoing motive of the physicist giving lectures about the nature of time and claiming that it's an illusion and that past, present and future are one and the same. So coupled with what I mentioned about contrasting, or rather deliberately showing similarities between certain types of situations in the 2 timelines, I think that may have been the point, or that things do stay the same and that time doesn't exist until the last act, when suddenly things finally change. So yeah, I didn't like the film much overall, if I'm being honest. The narrative structure didn't work for me, the story wasn't particularly interesting, and I found the movie to be rather forgettable. If you do enjoy sappy romance films, perhaps you will find something good in it. For me, it was just mediocre.